best way to be able to improv on a set when you're asked to is to be prepared as an actor. Improv comes from deep preparation. So if you've worked on your character, on the heart of your character, on the home of your character, on the history of your character, if you're doing your job of being the character, then you just be the character and answer questions and live truthfully within the circumstances. Now, of course, the improv rule of yes and is something that you pay attention to and you continue to pay attention to, but your history that you've worked and your homework is there to support you. So essentially, improv is simple, it's easy. You don't even have to remember the lines. So every actor has to know themselves intimately. If you don't know yourself and how you work properly, then you haven't done enough work and you need to be going to class. So everybody should have a way of finding a way to get themselves into a zone where they are letting go of their day and letting go of their homework and just allowing themselves to be in the moment, to be ready to be in the character in that situation and just be free to ski through the scene however it happens. My personal way of doing this and what I coach here at the Archibald Studio is the launch primer. What it does is it primes you to launch, like a big rocket taking off. They prime the launch of it and then it blasts off. So we want that as well. So I personally have 5 steps to my launch primer. You can use these if you like them. If they don't work for you, find your own and make sure that you have a launch primer so that every time you work, you can roll into the scene with the confidence that you are ready to work. So my 5 steps are, first of all, I have to tell myself to get lost. So here at my studio, we say, tell yourself to fuck off, right? Because Craig is an acting coach. And if Craig's there with me as an actor, he's going to be too noisy, he's going to be distracting, and the last thing I want to hear is my own personal thoughts. I want to be thinking what the character's thinking. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is one of my most important questions. I ask myself, what's my action in this scene, or what am I doing in this scene? Now, I've answered this before in my homework. I'm just reminding myself on the set, just before I go in front of the camera, I remind myself, what's my action in the scene? I know what it is, and I follow through. Another important question is, what am I looking for in the other actor's eyes? This question helps us not be looking at ourselves. It helps us look at the other actor and listen. What am I listening for? What am I looking for? What do I need from them so that the scene isn't about me, it's about the other actor? Because in true life, the scene is never about you. You don't watch yourself when you're in a scene with someone. You're watching them. The 4th thing is what I call the trigger sentence. And I boil the scene down to the most important sentence, basically like a writer saying that this is what this scene is about. Now, it doesn't matter if it's my line or the other actor's line. What I want to do is I want to know that line because it connects me to the storytelling process. We are in the business of telling a story. And if there's that line in the scene that we know is important to the whole structure of the plot, then by understanding that, I don't lay into it and I don't serve it up and I don't put quotes around it or anything special on it. I just know inside that that's really important to the overall story that we're telling. Finally, the 5th step is, what's my moment before? Classic acting question, but very important that you answer, what's happened just before you start the scene? Have you come up in an elevator and walked down a long hallway? Have you come home in the rain with groceries that are falling all over the place? Are you hot? Are you overheated? Are you trying to get into the air conditioning? Are you furious at someone and you've been tracking them down? What is the moment before? And actually be very specific about what is the carpet you're walking on? What is the temperature? What do you smell? What do you taste? What are you hearing? All of those sensory things that get you lead up to the moment before the camera rolls so that when you roll into the scene, you're already there. Feeling uncomfortable on a set is a difficult situation, and the most important thing you can do before getting to that set is to make a decision so that your mindset is set before you get there. If you wake up in the morning of a day of work or a day of an audition or a big callback to a network office, anything that's going to put you under pressure, if you decide at the beginning of the day that everything is going to make you better, you make that decision at 8 o'clock in the morning. For the rest of the day, everything that happens to you is going to make you better. So if you get on that set and you're feeling uncomfortable, the big question is, how can I make this make me better? How can I make this feeling of uncomfortableness work for my character? Which means that you had to have done that in your rehearsal. You had to have asked yourself, how is my character nervous? What is my character going through? So that you could use any of those issues to make you better in front of the camera. Another thing you can do is speak out about any issues that are bothering you. If you're feeling pressure from anyone on the set, you can speak out about it by either to your team, calling your manager or an agent, or speaking directly to your first AD or second AD, who is ever in charge of bringing you to the set. Talking about it and bringing it forward is the best way to handle difficult situations. Costumes, hair, and makeup are things that are decided before you actually get to the set. So you should have a meeting before you shoot with either the costume designer, the makeup people, the hair people, and in particular the director. So very often when movies or TV shows are moving quickly and you're a guest star or a co-star, you won't get that time because it's too much time for them to have. So often you'll get a chance, particularly ladies, get a day before the shoot that they get to go over and meet the costume and try the costume on. You can voice your opinions about your work. It's you in it, right? So you have the ability to voice your opinion. So you're going to talk to the costume person and say, I really don't like this. I don't like the color. Is there anything else we can do? Now they've done their job and they're working for the director and they're doing their best to pull the costumes that will work for you in the scene. You might be in a color tone that you don't like, but that fits the production design. You might be in a style of dress that you're not really ready for, that you don't think is flattering. You have to give the costume people their benefit of the doubt that they know what they're doing and they're working hard. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to be open to suggestions. You know, just a sweater over top of that or something simple changing, putting on a belt, anything that can make a difference that makes you feel more comfortable is great. Makeup is a very sort of standardized thing. It's very rare that people get upset about their makeup, but it does happen. At that time, you just have to speak honestly with either the first AD or with the makeup person themselves. If it's a problem makeup person, then you have to definitely go to your second or first AD. You don't want to bother a director with this because the first and second ADs deal with these kind of problems all the time. But generally, going in and saying, hey, I've got too much on my face, or there's something wrong with the lip color or something like that, they might not be happy that you have an opinion because they've been hired with their opinion, but you can speak to them about it. Hair design as well is something that, you know, normally gets taken care of way in advance and you can have a voice in it. I've never had a problem with hair design myself because I've always been actively involved and I've had my hair cut by professionals before I even get to the set. So I know what my hair is going to be before I even get there. Now, very often people can't afford that, so going on set and having somebody cut your hair and frame your hair, just talk to them before you actually start the cutting or the styling so that you both are in agreement that it's the right choice.